OnePlus have a pretty great track record when it comes to audio products, and now we have a new version of their sort of AirPods Pro style with the stem earbuds. And these earbuds do come with active noise cancellation and a couple of other unique features that I want to talk about. So stay tuned to see or hear how they are a very solid choice for good sounding buds, even when you aren't really trying to listen to anything. Hey, it's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? Here are my thoughts on the OnePlus Buds Pro 2. Starting off with the design, we have ourselves three different colors, and I obviously have the green version here, and you know I am a fan of that. And I've actually been using these earbuds for a couple of weeks now, and I've been bringing them everywhere with me, throwing them into bags and all of that. And as you can see here, there aren't really any scuffs or any scratches or even smudges on here. So the durability, or rather just the finish of the case alone, already makes me feel like these feel like a premium product. You can already see here that there's an LED light on the front to denote the battery charge. And if I close the case and bring it around, there is a USB-C charging port, but this case is capable of wireless charging. As far as battery life is concerned, both of the earbuds get around 6 hours with active noise cancellation on, and then you get 19 more through charging in the case. That has pretty much been in line with my usage, and 6 hours is plenty considering I can use one earbud at a time, which I tend to do, and when one earbud goes out, I could just switch over to the other one. Open up the case, and of course you have the actual buds themselves, which have a pretty substantial stem on them, and this stem will allow for some pinch controls. No swiping or anything on there, you're just going to be pinching these things in order to do playlist control and a few other things. One thing I do like is this little button that's inside of the case to trigger a pairing mode. It's really nice to have, especially if you're going to be moving among different devices, even if it's like a laptop or something other than a smartphone. But of course, when it comes to these earbuds, you have a couple of premium features for connectivity, like fast pair to Android phones, including the OnePlus 11, and these earbuds are also capable of multi-point connections. As far as durability is concerned, these do have an IP55 rating, so they could take like some splashes and definitely some rigorous exercise, unless you really sweat pools when you are running or doing any other exercise. I've taken these earbuds out for a couple of runs, both outside and on treadmills, and I don't really sweat a whole lot. I certainly haven't had any issues with these. So I talked a little bit about the pinch controls, and basically it's what it sounds like. You just take this stem and you actually pinch it, and it's sensitive enough so you don't have to pinch it too hard. You can do single pinches for play and pause, double for going forward in a playlist, or triple to go back. You can actually set those controls in the application, but the one thing that's missing on here is volume control. Now, when you have a stem like this, there could be like a lot of controls that are on there. Yes, I'm talking about the AirPods Pro 2, but in this case, no volume control, which means that I have to reach for the smartphone that is connected to, or whatever device it might be, and control the volume that way. So that is one thing to consider if you are hoping to have as many controls as possible on the buds themselves. It's really long pinches that are going to be most important when it comes to the OnePlus Buds Pro 2, and I'll get more into that in a little bit, but you can see at the bottom of the stem, at the very bottom, there are these little microphones, which should lead to better voice and call quality, which I'll test more, and you'll be able to hear that later as well. Now, the earbuds do have sensors in them, so if you do have the two earbuds in and you take it out, it's going to pause the content, and once you put the earbud back in, it will play it automatically. Those sensors work pretty well, but the one thing that's missing on these earbuds that could be considered a bit of a premium feature is like a vent. The vent usually on other earbuds just allows for like that earplug feeling to be somewhat alleviated. That's just not the case in these. You're going to have this sort of bulbous end inside of your ear canal with the silicone tip, and it's definitely going to feel like something is there. That's not to say these earbuds are not comfortable, however. These are definitely very comfortable for my ears at least, and I think that for most people they're going to feel just fine with the stem anchoring down just a little bit more for extra security. Well, the tea is done, so let's go ahead and have a little bit of a tea break. Thank you so much for watching my videos and for indulging me on these tea breaks. I just want to take these times to talk to all of you and ask you, what's going on, everybody? Let me know how you're doing in the comments down below, and as far as this tea break is concerned, I'm actually going to keep it really simple and just check in with all of you. At the beginning of every video, I make some tea and I invite you to have some with me, and once the tea break happens, go ahead and sip on that. Take a moment to just check in with yourself and maybe share with me how you're feeling right now, and let's have those conversations in the comments. These little breaks are just something I wanted to add to my video so that we can take these breaks alongside all of our YouTube viewing, whether it's tech videos or otherwise, and I just wanted to try to provide that in my video so that maybe you might come for the tech, but you can stay for the tea. You can see in the case here that these earbuds are tuned with Dyne audio, and within both of the earbuds are dual drivers. You obviously get a tweeter and a woofer, and that woofer actually provides a lot of bass. And as far as audio quality is concerned, if you're a bit of a bass head, well, these earbuds might actually be right up your alley because the low ends are definitely pronounced. I would actually go as far as to say that the lows sometimes drown out the rest of the spectrum, but overall they're still very enjoyable to listen to, especially for funky tunes or like bass-heavy songs like EDM or hip-hop. Now, in the application, you do have the ability to change up the EQ, and you can actually change the different frequencies so that you can tune it to your liking. But one thing that I actually found is really good to do is called Golden Sound. Now, this is a feature inside of either the audio settings in the OnePlus 11 or in the Hey Melody app that you would use with any other Android smartphone. And the Golden Sound feature allows the earbuds to analyze your ear canal, after which time it will play a bunch of beeps and ask you to move the slider to a volume where you're barely or just not hearing that beep anymore. You do this a number of times and then it will actually change the EQ according to what you give it in that test. Now, given my assessment of the audio quality just a second ago, it's no surprise to me that Golden Sound actually bumped up the highs and the mids while leaving the bass basically where it was. So that's exactly the tuning that I felt like it needed, and Golden Sound was able to figure that out given the test and make that EQ adjustment for me. So I thought that was pretty great. If you do get these earbuds, I would actually recommend trying out the Golden Sound test, and you'll probably get a marked increase in your audio quality. There are other options in the settings, including a game mode, which makes it so that these earbuds will have ideally very, very low latency or none at all. But I will admit that when I was playing some games on the OnePlus 11, I do still perceive the tiniest bit of latency. It is certainly better when the mode is on, but it's not completely gone. Before I forget, here is the audio test. This is using the microphones on the OnePlus Buds Pro 2. I'm using a different phone at the moment, one that allows for recording the audio through the connected Bluetooth headphones. So the quality might be a little bit different in like voice calls and video calls and stuff like that because of other factors like the connection quality or anything like that. But I figured this is usually a good way of getting this kind of test done. So you can let me know what you think of the microphone quality, the audio quality in the comments down below. So let's dive into a couple of the other features that make this a premium pair of earbuds a little bit more unique. And that of course means active noise cancellation and transparency. Those will be the premium sound features that make these earbuds a little bit more, well, pro. Active noise cancellation has been especially important for me lately because I've been traveling a lot, so having good ANC in these earbuds would definitely be a good tool to have, especially on like planes and during commutes. And on that note, the ANC on here is, well, it's good enough. Let me put it that way. The ANC does enough to dial back all of the things that are around you, but then it's up to you to play media or any sounds or any videos in order to drown out what is left in the spectrum that the ANC wasn't able to eliminate. So from ANC, we move to transparency, which requires a long pinch here on the stem. And as I am turning on transparency mode, I can certainly hear myself better, but if I'm honest, it's the transparency mode that kind of disappoints me a little bit more. Even though I can hear the outside world a little bit better via the transparency mode, there's still this unmistakable feeling that something is just blocking my ears from comfortably hearing the outside world. I get that that's painfully obvious because I have literally something in my ears, but I come back to the whole idea that a vent would have been really nice to see on here. But I also get, again, that would have made these an even more premium pair of earbuds and the price would have gone up. With all of that in mind though, the transparency mode could let even more of the outside noise or the outside world in to make it so that I can comfortably have a conversation with somebody or even just hear myself a little bit better. Even right now, I still sound a little bit muffled even with this transparency mode on. If you're coming into the OnePlus Buds Pro 2 hoping that on the one hand they might act a little bit like hearing aids and on the other hand they might act a little bit like earplugs, unfortunately they get sort of to those areas but they don't go really far enough. But that's where a really interesting feature comes into play. If peace and quiet is something that you definitely want to achieve with these earbuds, it is possible due to a mode in here called the Zen mode. Now, to be fair, Zen mode is nothing really that new, but I just really love how it's implemented on here, and it's nice to come back to it. Essentially, what happens here is in the application, you can go to the Zen mode settings, and you have a choice of like up to 5 or so white noise tracks that when you select one, it will download that track into the actual earbuds themselves. So no matter where you are or what device you're using, that particular track is always at the ready in the earbuds. And even if you're not connected to anything, you could just pinch and hold on one of the stems, and when you hold long enough, somewhere around like 3 to 5 seconds, it will actually turn on the ANC and start to play that white noise. I have actually found myself using this feature way more than I thought I would when I first saw it. I personally have the meditation white noise track that is playing inside of my earbuds, and I use that for journaling. I do 5-minute journals every morning, and I try to sit down and journal every now and then to just sit with my own thoughts and to jot them down and to center myself. But white noise tracks like this can actually come in handy for just general focus if you're trying to study or do some work. Or if you're this kind of person, maybe you can use this white noise for sleep. For a pair of earbuds that are solid in their audio quality and let's just say decent in terms of the premium features like active noise cancellation and transparency modes, well, this Zen mode just adds a new layer on top of that make them unique and also quite useful if you find yourself actually needing that particular amount of, well, Zen. Really, OnePlus continues to show that they can make their offerings, phone or otherwise, rather unique, but overall still very solid. At first, the Buds Pro 2 were just easy to appreciate, but Zen mode actually found its way into my regular usage on the daily. And as I was using these earbuds over the last couple of weeks and just telling a couple of my friends and peers about the various features of here, Zen mode was actually piquing their interest and they felt like they could actually consider these because of that feature. So it's good that everything else about the Buds Pro 2 happened to be pretty solid as well. So with good to great sound for a pretty affordable price, the OnePlus Buds Pro 2 can be good for those of you just in search for a little bit of extra Zen on top. Let me know your thoughts on the OnePlus Buds Pro 2, and let me know if you would actually use the Zen mode yourself as well. I've already used the ANC with like meditation applications, but if I want to do something unguided, the Zen mode is already there and I could just sit and be at peace or to center myself for some time using that particular white noise track. I think it's a pretty great feature that has come in handy more often than not recently. Once again, like I said during the tea break, let me know how you're doing as I ask what's going on, everybody. Let me know in the comment sections down below, and thank you for hanging out with me today, especially during that tea break. With all that said though, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody.